guys, Crystal Kennedy from the movie Chickk here. Welcome to the next bedtime review. I know it's been a while, so thank you guys for being patient. Sometimes my health doesn't allow me to do stuff, but I'm here and I have my wonderful guest that you guys love so much, Sabina. How are you,
everyone.
Sabina?
I'm doing good.
We are super excited because this bedtime review, we are talking about Suicide Squad. Now, people went to see it last night. It opened finally, so fans are now getting to see it. The critics are not happy with this movie. I think it has like a 28%.
33, I think.
33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Fans have actually put out a, what do you call those things? A petition to have Rotten Tomatoes
And there was actually
shut down.
problems with Rotten Tomatoes, I think this morning or like last night, where it was hard to like access or something. So something's going on. People are angry.
It was crazy. I've never seen like a petition to shut down Rotten Tomatoes because they are mad that the critics don't like the movie when they hadn't even seen it yet to say it was going to be good or bad. Like, to me, wait till you see it, and if it's really good, then you maybe do the petition, even though I think it's a little crazy. Sorry. What I am excited about is that you guys, you have been calling me a Marvel fangirl forever, accusing me even of being paid by Marvel to give the films good reviews, which, by the way...
That's crazy.
I'm not.
Me either. My bank account is like really low.
Yeah, I wouldn't be taking Uber.
We would not be poor. So.
No, I wouldn't be taking Uber places. I'd have like a town car and a driver and a person to walk my dogs and pick up their poop. But I don't, because I don't get paid by Marvel to give good reviews.
And it sucks because it's like, we want to like the DC movies. We want to be excited for them. Like, these characters are so beloved, and we just want to have them be done justice. You know, I feel like for the most part, a lot of critics, they're not criticizing it because they're Marvel fanboys. They're criticizing it because they know these characters really well through the comics and through other iterations, and they just want them to be represented in the best way possible by people who really love them too.
And I know I've told you guys this before. When I was growing up, like, I only knew of Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and Batgirl and the Joker. I didn't even know about Iron Man and Thor and all those characters because I wasn't a huge comic book reader, but I knew the characters that I loved, and the characters that I loved were Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I mean, how do you not love them? They kick ass and they save the world, and then they take names. Like, come on. But my problem with Man of Steel and then Batman versus Superman was that they were terrible. And there's no way around it for me. I know other people liked parts of it. The only part of Batman versus Superman that I even liked was Wonder Woman.
I liked
and she
Alfred
was in it for 10
too.
minutes. Alfred was pretty great. Pretty great. So finally, Suicide Squad's coming. The trailer looked amazing. I was super excited. I don't know a lot of these characters, but I knew some of them, and I was excited to learn more about them. And then David Ayer was attached, and I'm a huge David Ayer fan. Like, to me, I have a goosebumps talking about him. Nobody does grit, raw, real dirtiness like David Ayer. There's something about the way that he makes films. I think it has to do with the way that he grew up in Los Angeles. Like, he's just a real raw grit guy. He did End of Watch, which is amazing. He did Sabotage, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I loved. It was so violent and so gruesome, and I loved it. So when David Ayer got attached, I got really, really excited. But I tried to go in with like an open heart and an open mind because DC has just done me wrong, and it's hurt. It's been painful. So going into Suicide Squad, I was really excited. So before we start getting into the movie, did you love it, hate it, or somewhere in the middle?
I'm actually somewhere in the middle with Suicide Squad.
That's good.
Yeah.
I had a freaking blast. Like, I left the movie jacked. It has problems. We'll get into that. There's definitely problems.
But it's way better than Fantastic Four and X-Men Apocalypse.
It was so much fun.
It was,
like, this movie was so much fun.
You care about the characters.
You do.
Yeah.
And I have to say this, like, critics are tearing this movie apart for a lot of reasons that we'll get into. But let me just preface this with, if you don't know who Suicide Squad is, which I know you guys do, but just in case someone watching doesn't, they're bad guys. They're not Superman and Batman. They're not there to save the day. These are the bad guys that Superman and Batman try to get rid of. Let's just clear that up right now, because everybody's talking about the way the characters are doing things and this and that, and I think they're forgetting that these are bad guys and they're supposed to be bad guys.
Yeah.
So the premise of the movie, if you don't know, is Amanda Waller, she works for the government. Superman's dead. We saw the end of Batman versus Superman.
Dead.
And now, dead.
Dead.
Totally dead.
Totally
Even
dead.
though he might be in the next movie, Justice League. So anyway, he's dead, and now the government has to figure out how to deal with these entities that have powers, and they don't know what to do. And Amanda Waller has this idea. She's got this group of bad guys, villains, that are all incarcerated, and she wants to put them together and make them work for her to do what Superman isn't going to be able to do anymore because he's dead. And they aren't going to let her do it. And then, of course, something bad happens and they let her do it. I thought this was really fun. I really liked these characters. I was really nervous about Will Smith. I don't know about you, but the last couple things I've seen him in.
But he brought his like blockbuster star like power to this character without you looking at the screen and being like, oh, it's Will Smith. No, like he was Deadshot.
Yeah.
And he just commanded that screen time. It was so cool.
He was amazing. Like, I can't remember I think he's a great actor. He's been in amazing movies and done really great things. But the last couple things I saw him in, he didn't bring that, like you said, that blockbuster star power.
He was just like there, but not present. But he was so present in this movie.
That scene where he starts shooting the guns.
Yes, like...
Amazing.
So good.
So good. So good. The other person that I was really surprised by is the guy who played Rick Flag, Joel Kinnaman.
Joel Kinnaman, yeah.
So I was not introduced to Joel Kinnaman in many movies except for the movie that he did with Liam Neeson, Run All Night, where he plays Liam Neeson's son, which I really liked him in that. I thought he was charming and likable and lovable, and I liked him as Rick Flag. Now, note to self, I did not read the comics, so I don't know what the comic version or the animated version of Rick Flag is, but I liked what he brought to the film. I thought that his character was very useful and had a purpose, and I liked what he brought.
Yeah. I also really like Jay Hernandez as Diablo.
Oh my god, I love Jay Hernandez as Diablo.
And I think it works that like Air having an experience making shows about LA and stuff like that.
Yeah,
he
like End of Watch.
He treaded the line between making Diablo like not identifiable or stereotypical. Like I did not find him offensive at all.
No.
I was like, I mean, yeah, he was like a gang member and stuff, but I think there are scenes where it goes as far as to show you that this person did this to survive, to have their family survive and stuff. It was never like, oh, I'm into that lifestyle, you know. And a lot of people are reading into his character as being like an abuser, it's racist, domestic abuse, and it's like he has this like crazy supernatural entity inside him. It's not really like people are kind of reaching, trying to make it like, oh, it like basically is akin to him being losing control and being abusive. And it's like, so you're just saying that because he's a Hispanic gangbanger who loses control to a supernatural entity that's fire and accidentally kills his family, that makes him a domestic abuser. Like that's basically being racist. You're being racist by labeling that person because of where they're from and where they came from, that because they did that's like a stereotypical abusive Hispanic thing. And I was like, no, like this character loses control.
Totally agree.
Like, and the issue with the movie, to be honest, is that the editing is really bad. Like the scenes are really choppy and it's all over the place. So people are just like reaching and reading into certain things that aren't even there, or they're not clear enough for you to like be like, this is exactly what they were trying to convey. And it's like, the movie didn't know what it was trying to convey.
No.
Most of the time. Like my friend and I described it as a Snapchat story.
I saw that and I loved it.
And it's literally what it feels like. But the thing is, it's not like a Snapchat story that you want to go away. It's like you want to like, what is happening?
You want to keep watching.
Like, can like we figure out what like is really going on here? But yeah, like, so there are certain things in there that people are like, it's not racist.
And I think that David Ayer did good service to Diablo's character as well by making, and some of the dialogue is terrible in this movie, but some of it's great.
The script's pretty bad.
But
some of their zingers are good.
The one-liners are great, and I think David Ayer did great service to specifically Diablo, where he has him on more than one occasion feeling sorry about
yeah,
what he
is
did.
like
and
the
showing
moral heart
serious
of
remorse.
the team. Yeah,
He is. He doesn't even want to use his powers because he knows what tragedy he did.
Yeah, like he turned himself in and he didn't want to be there, and he was trying to overcome that. And so that was a really good arc to see.
Yeah. I also want to talk about Jared Leto and Margot Robbie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I think Jared Leto's version of the Joker is amazing. I think it is equally as good as Heath Ledger's, but completely different. This is a Joker that we've never seen before, and I really liked it.
I kind of disagree, but I feel that we just didn't get enough of his character.
Agreed.
Because we saw his take in a way of this character, but as like a lovesick, almost like a teenager. Because he was very it's very present. I don't want to give away like too many spoilers, but we didn't get to see what makes him stand apart as far as cruelty and sort of like his crazy necessarily. Like I didn't get a sense of like what his relationship is to Batman in it. Even though obviously it's more focused on his relation with Harley
Quinn.
He reminded me actually, I guess because of the deep voice, it's kind of like what was Heath Ledger like. I actually didn't get Heath Ledger. I was like he's like an old like sort of zoot suit mobster in a way.
Yeah,
but he sounded like the guy in Home Alone 2 in Kevin's video that he plays like with the Tommy gun. He sounds just like that.
Oh my god, that's really funny.
Which I thought was a very interesting choice, and I liked it because it kind of goes with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, which she does do the mall voice. It's not to the extreme of the cartoon, but it's there, and she's so good.
Yeah, I loved Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I thought she was amazing. I did have a little trouble where her voice kept changing back and forth to straight
fluctuated,
Margot to straight Harley Quinn. But everybody in the world is going to be saying Puddin' for the next 6 months. Every girl in the world is going to look at her guy and be like, oh, Puddin' after this movie, because she is memorable. She's amazing. Every scene she's in, she steals. I thought that she was so much fun to watch, and I agree that you don't get a good sense of Joker outside of Harley Quinn, but I was okay with that for this movie. I feel like they can look into that more, but what I liked is that I wanted to look into that more, and this is the first time that DC has given me a movie that's given me characters that I want to see more of.
And I was really surprised at some of the choices they made for Joker's love for Harley in it.
Yeah.
Because he seemed a little bit unlike the Joker in the Harley dynamic that we're used to, because there are some points in the movie where he makes really surprising choices that help her out, and it was like, oh, like that's interesting. I haven't seen that take on this relationship yet, and like that was really cool. And I actually did a lot of different takes on their relationship that is actually better than the New 52 DC origin story for Harley.
We just got that. My roommate ordered it this week, and I'm so excited to read it because I haven't read that comic, and I don't know the
there's
true
a
comic
new
origin story.
There's a new New 52.
There's so many.
There's so many now, I guess.
But I liked what I saw in this film, and I don't understand why a lot of female critics are having issue with it, because to me, their relationship is toxic and it's violent and it's abusive, and I get that.
And they also stepped away from the last comic book version of the story where she gets very controlled and forced into jumping into the vat or whatever.
Yeah, and in
this
movie,
she's given agency. She does it herself. They did
And
a combination of both.
it.
They did a combination of both her original origin and this kind of sketchy different origin.
Yeah.
But they made the point to at every turn, because I went in searching for lines that made it seem like she was being forced to do stuff against her will or whatever.
Yeah, and they're not
no,
there.
they're not there. Like Chrisley had mentioned that there's a scene where she gets tortured, but it's something that she gives consent to.
She wants it. She's like, I'm game. This is it.
Yeah.
I'm for you. And while obviously it's a toxic, abusive relationship that I wouldn't want,
you have to show something.
I loved what I saw in them, and knowing that they're bad and knowing that this is wrong, I still loved the the loyalty that she showed him, knowing how bad he was, and
she was just as bad as him.
She was just as bad, and I loved their relationship. I want to see more of it. It was so much fun for me. I also, the other biggest thing that people are taking is and I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to ruin things for you, but there is a dream sequence in the end, and people say that it doesn't fit Harley Quinn's personality, and she makes literally one statement after that dream sequence, and to me it worked and it made sense, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, nor do I think
at every turn, everything Harley wants in the movie, it's stuff she wants. Like, it's not something that a man is forcing on her, and it's being interpreted in that way, or that the male perspective is like sort of controlling what this character is like, but it's Harley's character, and it has been for all the different versions,
right? And
to
all
the core,
she wants is him. And they also do a really,
and they're not at any point they're not saying it's not problematic. Like, it is problematic, and it's not necessarily something to look up to or see as a role model.
At all.
And the movie never tries to make it seem that way. So
I think that there's that great scene where they're all in the bar and they're talking about wanting a normal life, and she's like, no, we don't get that, we're not normal, this is who we are. And then there's that dream sequence, and she says those two words, and it's like, now it makes sense to me. Like, she may have given up everything to become what he wanted her to, but in the end, all she wants is his love. And however way she gets that, she's happy with that. And whether we look at that as women as bad or good, like, it's a movie and they're characters, and it fits
and
the
there's
character
some people,
that's built.
And it's something some people do relate to, and it's like, it's their prerogative to make
there's
those
nothing
choices.
wrong with a woman wanting to be a wife and a mom. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be married and having a normal life. That doesn't make you not a feminist or not a strong woman. It's okay to want those things.
Like, it's just as it's the same as like baby shaming. Baby shaming is bad, but also family want shaming is also bad. It's, you know, like the issue with female characters that we're having is that we don't get enough of like different representation.
Absolutely.
And that's truly, we just want as many characters as guys get.
Right. But then when we get good characters, we can't tear them apart, which is my biggest problem with a lot of what the female critics are saying, because they're saying that all the women in this movie are being controlled by a man's you know what. And I don't feel that way at all. I feel like they've all made conscious decisions, and I also feel like, and her name is slipping me right now, the girl that with the knives, Katana, that's on Flag's side. She is not ruled by any man. She does not make any decisions.
She has a motivation related to a man.
But it's her dad.
But it's her husband, right? I thought
it's her husband?
It's her husband, but
she's
not
something motivated by it to the point where she's not herself. I mean, she comes into that group and does what she does because that's who she is, not because some man's telling her to. So you can't say all the women are. And also, they had issue with, which this one drives me crazy, they had issue with the fact that she came through the whole movie and said she didn't speak English. Mm-hmm. And then once they get to that bar scene, she finally speaks English. And they're like, that's a problem. And I'm like, no, that makes complete sense. She wasn't part of their group. She was part of Flag's group. She didn't trust them. And then in that moment in the bar scene, she became one of them. And that's how she showed them who she was. It's like people are really pulling for this, and I don't understand why. I do understand the Slipknot. I liked Slipknot. I wish we got a little bit more of Slipknot. I don't take issue with him punching the guard in the face. I don't take issue with that. I thought it was funny and I laughed. And yes, she's a woman and no men should not hit women. But when a violent villain is in jail and a woman says something smart to him and he punches her, that happens. Like, it's not like they were like, oh, we're going to make them beat up women. Like,
also the ass slapping thing, like,
it just, people are reaching.
I mean, like, I get my ass slapped by my boyfriend sometimes, but I also slap his ass. Like, it's not.
You walk around, you're like, hey, buddy. They do it on basketball courts every single day in the NBA.
Like, because I had heard about the ass slapping before the movie, and I was like, does someone like get spanked like really hard? And it's literally like a passing.
It's like a good game.
It's like a good tap on the butt, and I was like, that's not even.
I played basketball for 3 years, and every time we got off the court, we got the little good game. That's all it was. People are crazy, and I don't want to ruin the scene where Harley gets punched in the face, because I think that's a really fun scene. But also, she's trying to kill the person who punches her in the face.
Yeah.
So it's not like he just is like, oh, it's a girl, let me hit her. Come on, guys. Stop reaching. Please stop reaching. This was a fun movie. We have to talk about Viola Davis. Because
she's so good.
I mean,
I loved her.
I am a huge fan of How to Get Away with Murder. Like, I love How to Get Away with Murder because I love the strong female that she is, even though she's psycho and ruthless. She was so amazing and ruthless in this movie, and I loved it. Like, talk about a strong female character. Like, maybe you don't want to look up to her, but that's a strong female character on screen.
She's
as well as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I loved Viola Davis.
Like going back to like the film's issues, it's really just the editing. It's really just the villain choice and sort of like.
I was gonna say that.
It was
that
really.
Was the next
it
thing.
sucks because like we love all these characters. Like we're just gushing about the characters because they're
good characters,
despite how bad the script pretty much was. And it sucks because it's just like the whole time I was wishing that like Viola Davis and as Amanda Waller and like the Suicide Squad, they were doing something else, like to save like the city or something.
Right.
Not what they were there for, because what they were there for was really dumb.
Yeah. I liked Jai Courtney as Boomerang too, and I don't always love Jai Courtney. I think that he can be really hit or miss, but I think he was great. I think this was my favorite Jai Courtney performance.
He was allowed to be funny.
He was so funny. Yeah. I loved what they did with his character. I don't know if some of those nuances are part of the comic books. With the unicorn.
With the unicorn?
I loved the pink unicorn. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was so much fun to watch. There's the Killer Croc played by Adwale, which I like that he's there and they don't make a really big deal about the fact that there's a Killer Croc, but I kind of wish they did talk about it a little bit more. Yeah,
there were some characters that were a part of the squad, like including Jai Courtney's character, that were very interchangeable. You could have had anyone there.
Yeah.
But they were like, they had their moments though where they were really funny, but I'm sure it almost like because of like almost improv lines. Like there's this whole like bar thing with Killer Croc that was like one of my favorite like jokes.
It was. It was amazing.
So good. Like,
and Cara Delevingne plays
Enchantress.
Dr. June Moon, also Enchantress. She is the villain in the movie.
Yes.
And I think that was my biggest problem. My two biggest problems with the movie.
I mean, like I'm not the biggest fan of her necessarily, but she is barely making her transition from modeling and acting. This is like her second film. And so when she was cast as Enchantress, I was like, oh, okay, she'll be like a support, sort of like B hero, like a B-level hero in the ensemble with like Margot and Will and stuff. So I thought maybe she wouldn't have that much to do and sort of like be able to maybe work her like her beauty with like, you know, her burgeoning sort of like aspirations to be an actor and stuff, to kind of like, you know, like cut her teeth almost to be in this movie. But when you find out she's the villain, that makes her basically have to carry that end of the conflict, and she's way too new to be able to do that. Like super new.
I think the villain is the weakest link in this movie, but I also think what they did really well was they made it such a side part. Like, it was kind of like an afterthought almost. Yeah. It wasn't like when you see Man of Steel and we know Zod's the villain, it's a really big part of the movie, where in Suicide Squad, we know she's the villain and we know that she's
really
the
early
person.
on.
But it's very kind of an afterthought, and the focus is more on the team.
Yeah, it is on the, but it also lends to make it feel a little disjointed because you don't really understand, like, because we know who the villain is, they don't for a while. Yeah, and that's what causes it's awkward.
I also think you're right, the editing was a problem, and I feel like the reason why the editing was a problem and it was choppy is because Warner Brothers came in and wanted to control some things. And I feel like I would like to see David Ayer's version of this movie, like with no Warner Brother touching. Like, I want to see David Ayer's version of this movie because I can probably guess that it's not as choppy and probably a little bit more smooth and has better transitions. But at the end of the day,
the music was all over the place, though. I mean, the music was
loved
good,
the music,
but it honestly felt in like the first quarter of the movie that someone left Spotify on, and it was just going everywhere.
I feel like the music was, you knew, like, it was very like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And sometimes you don't want that in a movie. Like, you want a song that's going to surprise you, and these songs were very like formulaic, and you knew it. But
it honestly
still
felt like studio notes, though. Like, make this more like Guardians, make this more like Guardians, because, like, had they not been given that note, I feel like those characters in this squad could have organically found their own story, like, with the creative team, had they been, like, let to just do something different. I wouldn't have even
thought of that, make it more like Guardians. That makes complete sense, especially like, with the music.
The music and being, like, semi-redeemable at that point. Some of the characters fit into the tropes of the characters in Guardians, and then there's that whole beam in the sky thing, which is essentially something that, like, Fantastic Four and even this kind of borrowed from the first Avengers movie. And I was like, I would have loved to seen the squad take on a villain that was more like not like
threatening. Because
like,
she wasn't threatening. Her dancing and gyrating was not threatening.
It was really weird. She was popping lock in on top of that building.
It was weird. It was not.
But I would have, like, with Air's style and his ensemble, like, they could have taken on, like, actual villains or actual characters that were more corporeal, I want to say, because I don't want to really give away some of the other things that are kind of bad, but more related to, like, the end of the movie. Because that would have given a lot more to the action with everyone's fighting. For sure.
Skills. And let's be clear here that she's not a bad villain because she's a girl. She's just a bad villain. Like, it's just not a strong enough villain to hold a movie like that. Mm-hmm. But it has nothing to do with her being a girl, because obviously we're all about girls here at the Movie Chick. But it is definitely
it's
not
like
a strong
inexperience for her, like, through her acting and
and even story-wise, like, I know a couple people had problems with the story, and I didn't.
Well, although I kind of will say that not that she was bad because she was a girl, but it kind of feels like it was even like, well, let's just make her this, like, sexy, gyrating, like, evil villain who's just like that leaned way too much on, like, that aspect of it, and that's what I kind of found a little bit like, I don't like that. That was a little bit too, like, not okay.
That was the one thing that if as a woman, if I was going to have a problem with, that's the one problem that I might have. But because it was such an afterthought for me and the focus was so much more on them, it didn't even bother me. Like, I just had fun. I really did have fun with this. Like, I can't, like I said, the bad things you can say is it's choppy in the editing, absolutely. Mm-hmm. The villain is not strong enough, absolutely.
The plot isn't that strong.
The plot isn't that strong, but I don't care. Like, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah, because you grew to, like, I compared it to Fantastic Four, where, like, everyone was boring in that movie. And so when they, like, went through all the motions, I was checking out. I was like, this is really boring. But, like, when you meet all the characters, and yes, they do a lot of exposition in the beginning in, like, very clunky ways, but you still get a sense of them, and they're just,
it's fun.
You're into, like, their storylines and what they're about before you get into the whole, like, let's have them team up. And it literally felt like, I can't wait to see a Deadshot movie. I can't wait to see a Harley Quinn movie.
I did.
Yeah.
Because you fall in love with them. I really liked Common as Monster T. I thought that scene was really fun and interesting. It made a lot of people uncomfortable. It was supposed to make you uncomfortable. Yeah. It was supposed to make you see what kind of relationship Harley Quinn and the Joker
also
have.
she has agency in that scene.
She totally does.
Like, you get the sense that their relationship is very much like a game, and, like, it's open. She's, like, flirting with a girl in the other room, and then she comes in after the Joker jokes, like, you can have my girl, like,
it's
and
not
she's like, oh yeah, you can have me. Like, people are like, oh, he's treating her like his property, and I was like, no. When you see the end of that scene, you understand, like, the punchline.
Yes, people were definitely reaching and picking for things to be upset about, and I feel like I'm one of the biggest feminists there is, and I did not have problems with most of it. So if you could fix anything in the movie, what would you fix?
I would fix the storyline. Like I said, like I was describing, I was like, I wish they had a villain that was like more corporeal, more like actually going up against them, and to be able to see these villains shine in what makes them the worst, you know? And then just the exposition was like all over the place. The editing was all over the place. And it just either include more of the Joker for a stronger reason or just not have him in it at all, really. You know, because I was on like the edge of being like, you know, like, can he be in here? But I kind of agree that what there is of the Joker in the movie, it almost didn't even have to be there. Like, you could have just, like, cut it all and stuff, because we weren't given enough of him to really get a bigger sense of his character outside of his love for Harley.
And I think that, in my opinion, is that I think he was there as a prop to show us what Harley Quinn was made of and how she got there. If I was going to fix anything in the movie, even before I would fix the editing, I would like one more scene, even if it was only 2 or 3 minutes, of the team becoming an actual team.
Yeah.
Because
they develop a sense of family, but we almost don't get that. Like, it doesn't shine completely through.
No. And I would have liked to see a scene of them learning to fight together. We saw a great scene with Will Smith's Deadshot shooting, and I wish that they had done that scene, but with all of them doing what they do best. And I think that would have been really good. There are a lot of people that have problems with them saying that they're a family. And I think that what you're forgetting is, one, these are bad guys. And two, when a group of people is thrown into an extraordinary circumstance, whether it is for 4 hours or a day, those people become your family, because no one will experience what you're experiencing. And I think maybe I see it that way because I've had an experience like that. So for me, like, those people are still a part of my life, and I will never forget them and their family. And I feel like you can have problems with that, sure, because there isn't as much team building as you'd like, but given the circumstances that they're in and what they've just done, that's why they consider themselves family. So my two things would definitely be a little bit more service to them becoming a team, and then making it a little less choppy. But like I said, the choppiness didn't even bother me because I just had so much fun. And I can finally say I liked a DC movie, guys. Now you can't call me a Marvel fangirl anymore, because I liked a DC movie. I love David Ayer. I really kind of wish David Ayer was going to do Justice League and not Zack Snyder, because I think it would be a far better Justice League. But yeah, any last thoughts on Suicide Squad? Did we not talk about anybody or anything?
What are we missing? I don't know if we're missing anything.
I feel like we talked about pretty much every character.
Yeah.
Did Slipknot, we did Harley Quinn, we did pretty much everybody. I think we got everybody in.
Oh, I mean, well, Batman.
We do see, and that's what I wanted to say. Obviously, you know Batman's in the movie. You've seen it in the commercials. I stopped watching trailers, so I don't know if the other appearance, which I'm not going to tell you who he is or she is, because I didn't know that was coming, and I didn't see it in the few trailers that I did watch, because I stopped watching them because I feel like they show you too much in movies. But there is another appearance of another character, and I just want to give David Ayer a high five, because that is how you intro a character and do service to it. Like it should have been done in Batman versus Superman, when a character, for instance, Batman versus Superman, they show Flash and that thing. I thought it was Robin. I left the movie
really confused,
thinking it was Robin. And
I
David
really like
Ayer,
the sketches and the memes that
it was creepy.
There was just like some weird thing with like poofy hair and like real crazy mustache. Just
didn't know what was happening. And now in this movie, David Ayer shows you how to give a sneak peek and an intro to a character in the right way. So high five, David Ayer. And you guys are going to love seeing that character, because I was like, oh, I got so excited. I like sat up. All in all, I think this is a really fun movie. I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. What would you give it?
I would give it like a 4.5. Like, it was almost there for me. Like, I just solely on the characters, I loved it. And I'm just looking forward to the future of the movies. I think it's like, you're starting to see the changes that are happening. And obviously this one was dabbled with, you know, with reshoots and stuff like that. So you see how nervous reactions have made DC in this
Yeah.
movie, and it unfortunately affected its structure. But the seeds of these characters are sown in it that, you know, now that they're course correcting, I'm really excited to see where they're going to go.
Me too. This movie made me really excited for DC. It did make me sad that David Ayer is not doing Justice League, because I think that after watching what he did with Suicide Squad, I think that he would do so much justice to Justice League. And I wish that WB would stop pulling the reins in and let the filmmakers make their films, because I think that this would have been an amazing film had they done that. That is it for us. I hope you enjoyed. I know you've been waiting to hear what I thought, and I've been making you wait, so thank you for being patient. It was so much fun. Go see it. Have a blast.
Have
Leave
drinks.
your
I had
kids
drinks, but
at
I had
home.
fun.
Don't take your kids. Not a kid-friendly movie. Very violent.
Movie.
Probably should have been rated R. That is it for us. You can find Sabina where?
You can
Everywhere.
find me on, everywhere. I'm on Twitter at Sabina has no R, and I just tweet out like all my links to everywhere that I'm at.
Awesome. And you guys can find me everywhere on social media at Chrysalie. Make sure you check out the movie Chickk with 2kslikeme.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you guys in the next bedtime review. Bye.
Bye.